Madecraft is developing and investing in the next generation of learning content. Learn more at onlymadecraft.com.
Hi, welcome to the 1 in 20 show, where we're looking to find the next 1 in 20 successful individuals who are pursuing their passion so that you can too. And today we're joined by Spock. Spock is a dubstep artist based out of Los Angeles. He rose to fame in the early days of Vine, making sketch comedy alongside friends Nick Colletti, Cody Ko, and others. He used his exposure to create high-quality music that is reflective of his musical inspirations. Spock breathes life into every song he makes, evoking new feelings and emotions within listeners everywhere, causing them to gravitate toward his music even more.
Let's get it.
This is the take 2 that nobody saw, so take 1 is just in the background.
I wanted to clap again, and that's my go-to thing is just clapping, but it's
well, welcome, dude. Welcome. Thank you for coming out here,
for
doing this, and we're going to get into just all about how you kind of started up and got into the music industry. And I've been kind of diving into that a little more with this show. I've had like a lot of film-oriented people, but music is something as a completely different arts-based industry.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. So how did it start for you? How did you get into it?
So it started for me. I grew up, I guess I didn't grow up listening to metal, but around like middle school and high school, I got really into just like heavy metal music.
Yeah.
And so I loved like super aggressive music that you can take out your teen angst to. And so I was playing guitar and drums, like trying to start little bands and stuff with some friends in my parents' garage and stuff. And then my girlfriend at the time showed me Skrillex, and I was like, cool.
Pretty dope.
So like, I guess just the kind of aggressive like stuff carried over, and I thought aggressive electronic music is cool now. And when I realized I could just make it all myself in just on my computer, I was like, this is cool. I want to do this.
And that whole thing when Skrillex put out that song in his album in 2011, Scary Monsters, Nice Sprites, whatever. When that came out, it was like, I mean, it really just imploded the entire music industry, because like everybody was like, oh my gosh,
this
is
I think
the future
so.
of
like
it.
I mean, dude, like it definitely brought like some nerdiness in. I don't know, like it's cool, but that's what I feel like. This is kind of off topic, but I feel like a big thing that people don't realize is like music producers are just nerds, dude. Like you have to be a total nerd to just want to sit in your room all day by yourself for like 10 hours just making weird noises, you know? And you kind of have to be like nerdy in that. I just use the word nerdy because it's a fun word, but also like it's not like a negative thing. I think being a nerd is tight. Like you just kind of do your thing. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely weird because I had never heard any music like that. And I think, I don't know, it just showed, it reminded me of like metal in a way too, because it's so like counterculture, mainstream. Like counterculture and like weird, which I was always like a fan of, just like kind of out there stuff. And
it was really neat when the whole EDM craze kind of like exploded with with Skrillex and Avicii and Deadmau5 and like all those guys came in, and they showed that, like, I feel like that happened when like the synths came out, like the Moog and all that stuff that came out, like, you know, in the 70s, 80s. But like this was like a second step of that. It was like, okay, now we can not just do this on an analog setup. It's like, this is all digital and you can do it on your own laptop. It changes everything.
I think one of my friends, Willie from Barely Live, has said this before, I think, but he said it's kind of, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he didn't say this, but I'm pretty sure he said this one time, is like at that time it was kind of like a new thing, or maybe Skrillex said, I don't know, somebody else said this isn't my thoughts, but I agree with this. They were saying kind of like around that time when all those synths and analog stuff came out, that was like a new way of doing things. And then kind of like you were saying, now it's like kind of like the second wave of that. Now you can do everything on a computer, and it's just like it's just another new thing that you can experiment with. And like feel like a lot of the weird kind of like weird sounding revolutionary stuff in like the 70s and 80s were made by doing things that you weren't supposed to do with gear. And even like distortion and stuff on guitars, like but back before then, like in the 60s or I don't know when it was, but
right.
Like broken amplifiers and stuff would cause distortion, and they're like, oh, this is cool, we'll use this to our advantage. And it's kind of the same thing, like just doing weird stuff that isn't necessarily the intended use of something. That kind of like propels creativity and pushes things forward, I guess.
Sure. So how do you feel that this type of music, like EDM, is so interesting? Because like listening to your stuff too, like there's a handful of stuff that has, you know, some lyrics and different features that you've had on, but then there's also the majority that literally has no words at all. So how do you feel like you express yourself through a genre that has practically no words?
That's kind of interesting. I never really, I guess sometimes I think about that. Sometimes I'll be making a song and I'm like, this is kind of like, this feels like it needs something else, I guess. But I don't know. That's kind of an interesting way to think about it. I guess sometimes, I don't know. I've heard that. Well, I mean, I guess if you think about like, if you listen to a song in a language that you don't know, like you still can kind of understand the emotion behind the song. So I guess it's similar in that way, that I think you just hear different melodies and things like that, different sounds and stuff, and that kind of puts you in a different headspace or mood.
Expression based more.
More expression based and more like, I don't know, I guess just it's more based on the melody and like the actual sounds you used instead of the words. So I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's definitely a different one, but it's kind of a different way to express yourself, but it's just I don't know, I don't necessarily like consciously think about that type of thing, I guess, but maybe sometimes I do. Maybe I'm like, I want to make something that's sad. And then I make a sad melody. But that in and of itself is kind of weird, I guess. But
that's interesting. I've had like the music people that I've had on the show, I've asked them something like that, and they always say the same thing. Like just what you did, because it seems to me that like that would be the best. It's like because like when I first like heard EDM and stuff, that's how I equated like what it sounded like to my emotions, not like a deeper message necessarily. It was just like, okay, this translates pretty well. Seems like that's kind of what you've got going too.
And I guess I even do that with music that does have words and stuff. Like I was listening to Post Malone's new album.
We were just
I heard it when I walked in. But
so good.
But like it's, or I guess like my girlfriend is into like Tame Impala and stuff, and he's cool. And I feel like a lot of times when I listen to that type of music, or I guess any music, I'm more thinking about it in like the vibe, I guess. I'm more thinking about it. I kind of like visualize things in a way. Like I'm thinking about like, what does this make me feel? Not the words, but just the actual songwriting and like the melody of the vocals and stuff. I don't know, kind of rambling there, but
but that, I mean, that was kind of a pointed question, I guess, in a way, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's, I think a lot of people in music or in film or whatever it is, like just, they don't know why they are expressing themselves the way they are. It's just a feeling that flows out of them into what they make.
And I think a lot of people do it too. That was kind of what I was trying to say is like, I'm sure you don't know every word to a lot of songs that you like, but you still kind of get, even if you understand a few words or none of them at all, like you still like can enjoy the song and understand like the feelings and stuff without necessarily being focused on what they're saying.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Totally. No, that totally makes sense. And I guess as a follow-up too, it seems to me like I look at all these industries in the arts now, like if you want to go into film, you go to Hollywood and do all that, right? or if you want to act or whatever it is. But the music industry seems like the outlier for me, that like there's so many people trying to do it. I would even argue it's way more than film.
It's really saturated.
It's so saturated. So how hard exactly is it to kind of make your mark in that industry? How do you like stand out from others in music? It just seems almost impossible to me. It's crazy. You've done it.
I don't know. I think
tough.
that's another, like, you have to, I think being, there's, I don't know. I kind of think of it as there's two ways to kind of do that. Yeah. One of them being you just be like authentic. Mm-hmm. And the other way is to be manufactured, I guess, in the sense of like, Marshmallow is like a character, like he's like something larger than a person. And I feel like when you do that kind of like acting, I guess, I don't know the word to describe that.
No,
but
I hear you.
You know what I mean? When you have one thing that's like, is a completely manufactured brand, mm-hmm. or you have like, I don't know, just somebody else who is just genuine and themselves. And there's obviously, I think there's going to be some exaggeration. Definitely helps being like putting yourself out there and being larger than life in a way. I mean, for instance, like me as an example, I'm an idiot online. Like I'm a goofball, you know? I'm just
you're
like
hilarious.
Yeah. I just try to have fun and be weird and funny and whatever. And then that's still my personality, but it's like amplified in a way. Like, so I think kind of finding things about yourself or finding something you can kind of like play on with yourself to create a brand around that. Yeah. Like, I guess that like you either have to make something, have an idea that's totally separate and build that, or kind of, I guess it's one of the same. You just have to find cool like things that you think are cool and amplify them to a level that stands out. Right.
Well, and I think people, I get what you're going at, because I think like you, to me, like meeting you today is like a different person than who I thought I was going to meet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say is I feel like a lot of people, and even when I meet people at shows and stuff, they're like crazy, like think I'm like insane, gonna be some crazy hyper dude, and You're cool.
I mean,
I can be, I can be that, but that's like, it's not an act necessarily, but that's like when you're like, I don't know. That's just,
I hear you.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like, I was just going to get into this with you anyway. Like the guys like Nick Colletti and guys that you're friends with, Cody Ko and Noel and all those guys that like came off of Vine in a way, and like had that big larger than life. You did too. Like all of you guys were like freaking hilarious. Yeah. And you come off of that platform and then like have to now, you know, like everybody came off of that and had to figure out like, okay, now is it YouTube? Is it like, you know, what do we do? Right. Yeah. And it's so interesting to me that like, you know, there's like a level of, I like with Nick even, like I've seen Nick like was so freaking hilarious on Vine. Yeah. And like, that's how I knew who you were and all that stuff. And then like, now I know that I definitely know that he's not the same guy as he is on Vine all the time. Yeah. And like, you guys all have a real life that like you know, are trying to show people, but like the media, like oftentimes just with anybody, it, you know, accelerates what's funny or what's like the, you know, facade that you guys put up or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think people like, obviously no one wants to see, it's weird too. This is kind of related, but like, I don't really like to watch like vloggers who are just like, well, today I'm eating breakfast and this is what I'm eating. And to me, that's not super interesting. Right. I think a lot of people enjoy that, but I don't really like that type of content. Yeah. And I don't think people who like, I want to be entertaining people. Right. And to me, that's not super entertaining because everyone kind of does that. Right. I think people like to see things that they can relate to, but maybe that they're not there to like consciously afraid of it. But
yeah,
it's definitely tough. I guess it's tough to like put yourself out there online,
yeah,
or anywhere, and like acting kind of like it's tough to be like extreme. I don't know. It's tough to just put yourself online. And so I think when people see that, like the funny, crazy characters and stuff, they can relate to the things in a way, but maybe they just don't have the confidence to like put themselves out there like that.
Right.
And people like to see each other have fun. Colletti told me that a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember like a few years ago, he was like, yeah, film me like dancing we were on like, they had like a rooftop at their apartment, and we were just up there like listening to music or whatever. And he's like, yo, film me dancing. And I was like, why? Like, you're just dancing. We're just having fun. He's like, no, who cares? Like, people just like to see you have fun. Like, when people see other people have fun, it makes them feel good and them have fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of just ranted there, but I feel like that's kind of the thing is people just like to see other people have fun and other people be funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, like the people who are going to watch this are different than the people who just go on TikTok or Vine and watch a bunch of stuff. Like
that's what I was going to hint at is I feel I totally hear you on that because everybody that I interview on here, especially you, like I know that like your like life serious like stuff that you want to get out there is through your music, and your music is like your pipeline to do that. And it's great because I think your music's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
But like I feel like there's people out there in the media who have these larger than life personalities like you're hinting at, but they've made a face for themselves in that, and then they feel like they can never truly like say what they wanted to say or do, I don't know how to get into that.
I understand that. Yeah. It's weird. Like it's definitely tough sometimes. I want to, and I think a lot of people who kind of have not like, I don't know the word, but kind of are in that category of people who are like kind of whatever online, like big, funny, larger than life online. It might be hard because they've kind of created a character that they don't fully like relate to or something. And it's tough. Sometimes I want to post something serious or something, and it's like, well, I don't want to do that because no one cares. You know what I mean? But like people want to see me tweet a stupid joke. They don't care about whatever other thing I'm going to tweet.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. There's going to be some people who care, and like the people who watch this are probably going to be of those people.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like, I don't take it offensive that people only are interested in one thing. Like, I don't know, if you're a fan of whoever, like Brad Pitt in whatever movie, you don't necessarily care to watch him in another movie. You're just a fan of that character that he plays, or a fan of whatever. Maybe you don't care about his personal life. Like, that's the thing is, I don't take it offensively that people could only like the funny things or whatever. Like, it's just the thing.
It's just really interesting.
It's fine. And I mean, I'm a fan of people in the same way too. Like, just because I'm a fan of this person doesn't mean I care that they put out a song or whatever, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of a struggle sometimes where you want people to care about certain things. And then you just, I don't know. Then I just kind of realize like, it's whatever. Like, people are going to care about what they want to. And it's fine. I don't take offense to it. Like I keep saying, like, they can care about whatever they want. They're still into the things that I'm producing. So it's fine.
That's the key. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing when, like, I was just looking on your Spotify alone. Like you're looking at like 6 digits on each song. Yeah. And I always try to amplify that because we just had an episode that did pretty well recently that, I'm thinking like, wow, that many people, if I was to put that many people, same with your guys' Vine stuff. If you could put that many people, you're standing in a field and you put all those people out there, it's like, that's unbelievable. Who cares if like, it's like,
definitely,
oh my gosh.
I talk to Nick Colletti. We've been hanging out quite a bit. So we've been talking quite a bit, but we were talking about the other day, like, it's weird to think, we were talking about negative comments and stuff too. And it's like, who cares? Like, man, there's so many people. Like, if you were to put all those followers in a room or whatever, or all your Spotify listeners, like, that's so many people. Like,
can you imagine one show, if you could have one show in your life that had that many people?
Yeah, and it's funny too when you like it, like, kind of the transition from, when you think about it in that way, like, it's one thing to see, oh, this video has 10,000 views or whatever the number is, and then if you were to go out and actually meet those people, or like when you play a show, like, it's one thing to see numbers, and it's another thing to see, oh, these are actually like people who are into this thing. So it's always interesting, like, at shows and stuff, the amount, and just people come up and say, hey, I love your whatever music, or hey, I watched your video with Cody Ko, whatever it is. Like, it's kind of weird to think that, like, oh wow, there's actually tons of people out here who actually like are people. Like, it's just a weird kind of disconnect. Like, you see the numbers go up, but it's another thing to think about it in terms of, wow, this many people actually watched it,
are affected by it.
It's kind of crazy.
It's a good and a bad thing, I think, because you know, I always think of, like, I'm going back a little bit now, but like when you look on like Twitter or whatever, or Instagram, and a lot of people go to that place to find comedians or whatever that will pick them up right out of their horrible moods, or you know, we all do it. We all do that when we feel crappy and we go on there. But you know, like, that's been a hard thing for me with doing this. It's like, we're almost at 50 episodes already in a year. And like, it's just, I mean, this is how anything is, but like, it's just starting to kind of get somewhere. But it's been very, very hard to find the group of people that will relate to talking real. That's really what it is. That's all it is.
It's definitely interesting, man. I noticed that too. Because I don't know if you know, I tried to start up a podcast. I mean, I'll probably still do it sometimes, but I've just been kind of busy. But my thing was, I was trying to get other producers on there, or I guess kind of actually similar to this show, to be honest, like, and just kind of talk about, I was calling it shop talk. So kind of just like,
that's cool.
Talk shop. Like, what kind of, I was having producers on. I had like a mix engineer. And we were just talking about kind of the technical details of everything, and advice and stuff like that. And it's hard to find an audience who, it's such a niche thing, I think.
It's very niche.
But I think it's important though too, is like, conversations like this are super important because they're so niche. A lot of people don't want to touch on it, but I think it's like super important conversations to have. And especially for, like, I use the word nerd a lot, but like, nerds like me, I love watching this type of stuff because I find like creative conversations and things like that are super entertaining to watch, because I'm the type of person that does care about, you see someone online and you're like, whoa, I wonder what makes that person tick, or I wonder what, like,
right, because that's going, not to cut you off, but that's going back to knowing what they do on the gram, or what they do on Twitter, but not knowing who they are. You just know them for the personality.
Yeah, and I like to kind of see behind the scenes on things, and like, I love reading like self-help books and things like that, because I love to pick up on little things and like
that you could be
that I can use, that I
right.
can try to use to improve my situation or whatever.
Right, right, super important.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm really happy that we connected over this too, because I think there is a market for it. It's really small. The problem is the market, I think, is within a demographic that's probably the older end of our age group. I'm 21, so like I'm on the really younger side of it, but like 30 and up, maybe not even 30, 40 and up are like the people that grew up on like all the Tonight Show stuff, and like you know, even those aren't really deep interviews, but they grew up on people like, you know, Walter Cronkite and like all kinds of people that like would interview people and get to know them, and I think the only one who's really doing that right now is like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And he's on a massive scale.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing is like people know that they can go to him to hear a good discussion or conversation.
Yeah.
But like, do they come because it's, my thing is always like, that's awesome. But I'm always thinking,
do they come
why
because
do they
it's
come?
Joe Rogan?
Do they come because it's Joe, or do they
Yeah.
come because they want the content? Because like people get locked onto, like you said, the Brad Pitts of the world who they know they can trust because they've seen them on screen or they're amplified by society.
Yeah.
We're all trying to model ourselves after somebody that we look up to. I don't know. It's so interesting.
I think it's like, I think some people, well, I think Joe Rogan kind of proves that there is a market probably bigger than we think for shows like this and conversations like this. And I think it's not necessarily something that a lot of people are going to search out, like to try and find this, but, and that's why I think maybe Joe Rogan's so successful is because they already kind of knew of him, and he has like really high profile guests and stuff. So
really high.
Yeah.
The highest.
Yeah. So things like that obviously help, but I think people like conversations like this, and like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think that it's like,
I hear you. It's weird to describe, and
it's cool, and people, more people than we probably think care about this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, let's make it heard. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy who works over at iHeartRadio, and he's a host of one of their shows, and he and I were talking about how he said to me, he's like, listen, it's up to your coming generation to dictate what is going to be in the forefront of the media. And the problem is right now that the media is really like consumed by anywhere from 13 to 24. Yeah. So the demographic's young. Yeah. And that's just kind of how it goes right now.
Yeah, and they want things like immediate.
Yeah.
That's something that I notice is with music, especially, is like you'll put out a song and 2 days later someone's like, "Hey, we want more music." It's like,
dude,
did you not see? I just
months on that.
Yeah, I just released a song 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like the shelf life for things is really short right now. I think. I don't know. I think people want things, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not saying like, wow, kids these days are blah, blah, blah. I just think it's like, I don't know, because I'm the same way, dude. If I go on YouTube and I'm trying to watch a video and the intro is longer than like 20 seconds, I'm like, all right, I'm out. Like you talked way too long. I don't care. Yeah. So
and there could be good content there. It's just that. Yeah, dude, it's a game.
There's definitely like some sort of formula that's like, you have to have this short. That's why your like tagline in the intro is great, because it's not long. It's like it's not long, but it's also like descriptive of oh, cool, that's tight. I'm gonna listen to that. That's interesting. Cool. But I don't know. I think it's things like that. You gotta find little things that hook people. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this is a good. Already 30 minutes in, so this is a good place to go to a break. We'll be right back. Hey guys, today's episode is presented by Madecraft. Madecraft is looking to develop the next generation of leaders by creating learning content for platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook. They create high-quality professional courses that help you grow your skill set for that job that you're pursuing. If you need to expand on your skills, I would highly recommend you look here. It's a practical first step that can help accelerate your growth quickly, and it's endorsed by me on the show. Visit their website at onlymadecraft.com. And now, back to the show. Audio Technica.
AT-HM50Xs.
These mics are awesome.
These AT-2020?
Dude, yes.
I have one. Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I saw it, I was like, okay, this is like, I read up on it, and I was like, this is a good
2019.
Yeah, it comes up, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also that SMB40 or whatever that everybody uses.
The SMB57, the SM57B, or the the one that like Joe Rogan and
that
like
one
everyone
is the one
uses.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, 57B. Yeah.
That one's really nice because it's short. We're back, by the way.
Oh, hey.
But we can just chat. I don't care. But that one's like really like everybody.
It's more. These are like $100 though. Those are like $350.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can tell a huge difference.
Nah, dude. These are nice. These are nice, and I think that's one thing I've learned is gear does not matter.
No,
dude. Like
no.
You could be recording a podcast on your phone, like just talking into your phone, and it would be fine.
Yeah,
like
it would still get the listens.
If the content's good, people are gonna listen.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is like I I got these and I was like, okay, these are a huge step up from the blue snowballs that I had that were total crap.
I used
Those
to
are
have
horrible.
one. Yeah.
Like just for the quality, because they just don't have any like actual depth to them or anything. And so I got these and I was like, oh, these are great. I love them. Like the sound quality is amazing. And like when I mix them, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And then I threw it on, what did I do? Oh, I was watching the Travis Scott documentary that came out.
Yeah.
And on one of the songs, he's using it. And I'm like, legit.
Yep.
I got the right thing.
Yep. I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he was like, yeah, I use Beats Pro or some Beats headphones to like mix and master all of his songs. And I was like,
that doesn't
that's
sound right.
crazy, because nobody uses Beats, but it's all about just like what you know and what you like. I don't know, if you know what you're doing and if the content's good, people are gonna they'll come. And that's why I always have to remind myself, because I get so caught up in like getting new gear and stuff like that. And
are you in Pro Tools when you mix and stuff?
No, I'm all Ableton.
Are you really?
Live. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Ableton's cool. Do you touch with Logic?
I'm not on Mac. I used to be on MacBook. Yeah, I had a MacBook for like 5 years, and that's what I was using. But last year I just got a PC, and I'm like, I just like it more. But I've always been Ableton. Yeah. And I never used Logic, but I've heard Logic is great. Like I know a lot of people who make really good music in Logic.
Well, like in the editing space, it was like, like forever, it was like Final Cut Pro 7 or whatever was like the staple of the industry. Yeah. And then like, of course, Mac like goes through this phase like with Tim Cook when he comes in and all this stuff. And now the whole thing is not the Steve Jobs-esque thing that it used to be. And so now everything gets dumbed down. And then Final Cut 10 looks more like iMovie. So everybody jumps to Adobe to go to Premiere or back to Avid.
I'm on Resolve. I'm on DaVinci now.
To cut?
Yeah.
Really?
I've
heard somebody doing that recently.
I got fed up with Premiere, man. Like I don't edit a bunch of videos, but it was crashing all the time. Like it felt like even just the interface feels old.
Did you? I'm curious. Did you have the cloud? Did you have Creative Cloud, or did you buy the actual software?
I had Creative Cloud. Yeah, and it just still felt old and like it just.
And were you on PC?
I was on PC too, so I think it's probably more optimized for Mac.
PC user. I don't know.
I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I just got like, I was like, man, I'm paying like $80 a month for all this software, and
were you on the student one?
No, I was on the regular one.
I always tell people like, yeah, just don't do the student Creative Cloud, because you could just tell people that you're a student of the game and just get away with it.
They don't like check or care.
I don't know. I think they check for some stuff. Like I was talking to somebody who was saying that one company that lets you. Oh, I think it's Spotify. Oh, Spotify. If you apply for student, they make you actually send your class schedule.
Oh, okay.
Because they know
that's weird. Spotify would do that, but
I don't know. That does seem weird, but then again,
whatever,
it works,
makes sense,
I guess, because then they get to not have to pay so much.
Dude, Spotify
or
is
lose so much money.
I was using Apple Music for years, and I just recently started using Spotify like a year ago. Yeah, dude, it is so much better than Apple Music. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I think Apple's just not. They cornered the market for purchasing digital music, which was huge. Yeah, dude. So if we go back to 2011, when like Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites and all those songs were out, that was like when I was like 13 when that was happening. Yeah, and I was going on there every day, like listening to the preview, because I wanted the song so bad. You couldn't. But like I just didn't. I mean, I could, but I just was stingy and didn't buy it. Yeah. But then I finally did, and I would buy the stuff that I would
you had to buy the
to,
music. And I remember in high school, like going to buy like. Because I was into metal, like me and my buddies would go to like Best Buy and buy like the new whatever album that came, like a CD of it, and then I would just put it on my computer. I just something about having like I didn't like buying it on iTunes. Yeah, well, I think at the time too, iTunes was weird and like locked. I don't know if you remember that, but for a while they would like lock the song to where like you couldn't, if you got like, I don't remember the details, but if you got a new whatever, or if you stopped, you didn't want to use it on, you like couldn't, it was at the time when Bluetooth and stuff wasn't popular in cars, so you'd like burn a CD from iTunes.
Still
and it wouldn't let you burn a CD and stuff.
Dude, I remember that,
because they didn't want you like burning the CD and then giving it to somebody else to have the music or something. It was like weird, but it's not a thing anymore. But I mean, no one buys music anymore anyways.
No, I think. Well, didn't they announce that they're closing iTunes Store? Like,
yeah,
completely?
I think they did, right?
I think they're literally just migrating it to remove purchases. Now it's just subscription based. But
yeah,
I've never like even just the compatibility. This is stupid, but like even the compatibility that Spotify has with like the other social platforms like Instagram, where you could just add right to story, like for your stuff when you release something,
just add right to story.
Boom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the link. You can click it
on that. It's great.
And it's like, why does Apple? I love Apple's workflow like on the actual OS because I've used it my whole life.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
OS is so nice.
It's great.
Dude.
It's super simple and like that's great. But then now everything that they release is such a dumbed down version that now they're not catering to creators, they're catering to consumers. Yeah. So now everything's screwed. It's like now third party stuff, like you said, Premiere is giving us bugs because it's like they're not willing to work with people to make it simpler.
It's so kind of weird. This is such a dumb example, but I don't know if you played Fortnite ever, but
I played the other night, got stuck in the storm, and I quit.
It's the Fortnite effect where this is so stupid, but it's basically like Fortnite was really big and popular last year because like Ninja and all the big like content creators and stuff were playing it, and it was decently competitive. And they were like trying to make it a pretty competitive game and stuff. And now recently they've been kind of within the past 6 months or so, maybe a bit longer actually, they've been kind of catering to like, because it's huge. Like little kids play the game. It's a massive game. Like my like 7-year-old cousins play it and stuff. So they kind of have been catering to those guys more. And in doing so, they make the game less creative or less competitive. So the big content creators don't want to play it anymore because it's not fun for them. Because they can like, you should never be good at something and being killed by like a 7-year-old kid, you know.
Because now it's consumer easier.
It's like, they're like, anyone should win. It's that. And so by like catering to that, they kind of ruined it and it lost the appeal to everyone. Because now if Ninja's not playing it, or if Ninja's not like good and he's getting frustrated, it's like, well, then why do I even want to? Well, I don't want to play it. Like Ninja doesn't want to play it. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. That's unrelated, you, but it's kind of related in the sense that like Apple's kind of catering towards like, I mean, they're catering towards iPhones and stuff anyways, because that's probably where like 80% of their money comes from. But in doing so, like they alienated kind of a big thing that made them cool in the first place, which I feel like was like originality and like creative people wanted to use their stuff. Like, dude, when I bought my first MacBook, I like saved up for a long time. I got it because that's what all the like, I mean, still, I think a lot of music producers use that, but that's like Apple, like Macs were the coolest computers and like they're so powerful and whatever. You couldn't find that. And now like you could build like, I don't know.
You could build your own system that's just as good, if not better.
Yeah, way better. And even my like, I bought like an Asus laptop, like just PC laptop last year for like $1,400, and like, granted, it's the build quality is not as good as a MacBook, but the hardware is way better. Like everything about it is better except the build quality, and it was like not even. And I can upgrade it. Like I just put a new, faster, bigger hard drive in it last month for like $100. Where like. Yeah, now my buddy just built a Mac spec MacBook that's still not quite as good as my PC for like $4,500.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like he spent 3 to 4 times the amount that I did, and mine's still like arguably better. It's just like, I'm not gonna spend that money. And
no, I don't know. It's so dumb, dude.
That's neither here nor there. But
I hear you, because it's like the craziest thing to me is like the new iMac Pros, not the Mac Pro cheese grater thing that's coming out. That's like 1,000 gigs of RAM or something insane. The one that looks just like a normal
iMac Pro. The like
that one. You used to be able to like, you know, like the Apple came out with the MacBook trash can or the Mac Pro that you could go and take it up,
take it out.
You could pop the RAM out, replace it.
New hard drive.
So awesome. You can change the CPU. You can change the graphics card, whatever you want. Now you can't change any of that because the new iMac Pros are soldered.
It's essentially.
I'm like, why would you do that?
They're kind
you could make a killing on changing it out.
The iMac, like the new iMacs are kind of built like laptops because they're essentially like
It's like the tech is smaller or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're so small. Even that one over there is like, it's so small. It's basically like they put laptop components in like a desktop, which
it's like huh.
I mean, it's definitely tight. It's cool. Like I think it's sick, but
you know what they screwed up on though is the cooling systems.
Oh yeah,
are bad now, dude. Like that's the problem. Is like the iMac has like the new iMac Pro only has like one fan.
Yeah,
and it's like really quiet. Sure, it's quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet,
but then it starts to overheat.
And that was a big thing with the new MacBook Pros. They were like thermal throttling really bad because there's not enough cooling in there to keep the CPU cool. So like, you have a great CPU, but you can't even use it because it can't stay cool enough.
Mm-hmm. So dumb, dude. Yeah. Anyway, wow.
Anyway, I don't know what we just
that was a 10
talked about for 30 minutes. 12 minutes, yeah.
12-minute rant. No, but I mean, hey, listen, if anybody needs that kind of advice, then there you go. You have it.
From two people who don't really know what they're talking about, but kind of
know. Yeah. No, but yeah, dude, that's really cool. I think it's in a way that kind of lets people in a little bit on like a more realistic look of like what kind of your process is, and like
if
you don't need the most expensive gear to do what you need to do.
No, dude, that's one thing that I always go back and forth with. Like I get so caught up. The past few days I've been like looking at new like studio monitors and stuff, and I'm like, do I really need like, well, I got some new headphones the other day. I got the Sony whatever, like noise canceling stuff. I just got them for like planes and stuff. And I like overanalyze, like, should I get the Bose or should I get the Sony? Well, for like 3 weeks or something, I was like contemplating that decision, and I'm like, dude, they're headphones. Like it doesn't matter. They're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think
with minor changes.
Minor things, but I ended up getting the Sonys because I heard they sound a little better, and they're like mildly newer. So whatever. Anyways, but now I was using those the past few days to just produce music. I was like, I'll just start using these, even though I didn't get them for that. Like I'll just start. Yeah. Maybe they sound good. So I was like, I'll just start using those. Like
I'm such a stinge. Like I really like will not buy any tech unless I need it, and I'll wait to the last minute and let somebody else like work or whatever, or like my old job, like I was just dying to get a new system, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to get. And then we were on the Apple lease thing, so it came in, and I was like, yes. Just didn't say anything. I was just like, yes, perfect.
I've always been really into like, I'm just the type of person where if I'm going to buy something, like I just want to buy the best thing that there is. That way, because like anytime I don't do that, within a month, I'm like, I'm already looking to upgrade again. So I always just try to get the best thing that I can that I know I'll be happy with. So I'd rather spend like 3 weeks being annoying and like doing a bunch of research on stuff and then get something that I actually want and I'm actually happy with, rather than get like something that works.
Yeah.
But then I always go back and forth like, well, maybe I don't need the best thing. I don't know, dude. It's just a vicious cycle of like...
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you.
Stupid stuff. And then I don't know, spend more time looking into the thing than actually using it. Yeah. Once I realize I'm doing that, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm just going to use what I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's always the best bet. I mean, as long as you can do what you need to do. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit into just briefly, like we have about 15 minutes total left. Cool. So let's talk just a couple minutes. We were gonna dip back into kind of what were we gonna talk about? Kind of just like the deeper. In the break we were talking about how there's a lot of people that there's like a niche audience for content like this.
Yeah.
That people like, I think they want it, but they just don't have the quite enough patience or whatever to go to it. Mm-hmm. But like you said, that like there's people that like you will look up people that you are interested in. Yeah. That like are, at a level where they, have a face that's funny or whatever, but then you don't really know who they are and you want to investigate. So like, what were you kind of going with that? I want to kind of know like your thought process of why people...
Why I think people
why people should or do care, they just don't know it.
If you see people that you think are interesting, I think it's just curiosity. I think you want to know more about that person.
Yeah.
It's like anything. I think when you meet like a new person, I kind of think about it like that. Like when you meet a new friend or whatever, and you ask them all these questions to get to know them better.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same thing when you're like an influencer or whatever. Like I think you just kind of, it's kind of the same thing. You see them all the time. Like you think, I notice too when I meet people who are fans and stuff, like they feel like they know you already because they see so much of you. And I think it's kind of that thing. Like it's almost like you think of them as like a friend in a way. Like you know all this stuff about them and you kind of want to know more about them. You just kind of think of it as like that, like
yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's
Social
such a
media
big
is weird
part
for that.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like there's such a big part of your life, honestly. Like I don't know, like David Dobrik as an example, like he posts, I think he's doing 2 vlogs now, but whatever, he's posting all these vlogs. Like he has a podcast, he's posting on Instagram. Like you see him, if you're like a fan of him, he's everywhere. He's on your Snapchat, he's on your Instagram, he's on Twitter, he's on YouTube, like he's on like podcasts, he's on all these things. So no matter what like social app you're on, he's there. In the same way, like you probably see more of him than you see your friends from high school or whatever.
Yeah, the algorithm
and so it's
promotes
like,
it.
Yeah, and like it's kind of that thing. I think you just start thinking of him, or not him, but like thinking of whoever these people are as like your friends. So you just like, you want to know more about them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that, because like in a way, like that's kind of how I was stoked to meet you today. Because like I've, you know, like the first thing I ever saw of you was you in those yellow Crocs with the that Australian pipe thing doing the
Yep.
That's the first thing, and I've seen you in a ton of like Vines after that because I loved Vine. That was like the place.
Vine is the best, dude.
That was the best.
I'm on TikTok now though.
Are you on it?
I mean, I post a couple, but
yeah, I feel like all the Viners look at that as like the annoying little brother or whatever, but they use it still.
You do. I didn't get it for a long time. My buddy Ray was telling me like, you got to get on TikTok, and I didn't understand it for like a year. Yeah. And now I'm like, dude, like it's tight.
Now it makes sense.
The For You page is genius, and I think like you can't repost anything. You can't like, so I think in that way it's like, it's sick. Like I don't know. I love it. It just sucks you in, bro. You can go scrolling that For You page for hours, and like the algorithm puts funny, like I don't know.
It's crazy. Yeah, it
tight.
is funny.
Whatever.
It's so funny.
I forgot what we were even talking about.
No, it's all good, dude. We've said a lot today. It's been all over and great, and I love it. It's awesome. But let's go back to your like we have 10 minutes ish. Yeah. So let's talk about your tour coming up, because I don't want to miss out on all this that you're doing. So you just released a new song. Like talk a little bit about that first.
Yeah, I released. So we had been talking about doing this like tour thing, me and this other producer, Yax. And whatever, our management want us, we were just going to do one song, like a collab, and then kind of push that out and use that to promote the tour. And our management was like, you should just do a whole EP together. We were like, all right. So we did 2 collabs, and then 1 original from me and 1 original from him, as like a 4-track EP thing that came out.
It's really good.
Thanks. Yeah. So I was stoked on that, but that all came about like a few months ago, and then we scheduled out this tour, and so we have like Seattle. It's pretty small. It's 3 shows, but I'm stoked because they're all good venues that I'm hoping they do well. But it's 3 shows. It's Seattle, New York, and DC.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then there's this big dubstep festival, Lost Lands.
Yeah, I know that.
We're
playing
both.
That?
Yeah,
wow, congrats, dude.
Thank you. I'm stoked. Me and him are both on that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, we have those 3 shows, and then there's epic. The 2. We're kind of using that also as like the tour as well. We're kind of looping it in, but
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna.
How
be
many
tight.
groups get invited to that? that festival?
A lot. It's pretty big.
It's
I mean,
big, isn't it?
like the biggest dubstep festival, I would say.
Dude, that is
it's
killer.
Excision. I don't know if you know
Yeah, I
Excision,
know,
but
yeah.
it's his festival. So he puts it on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think it's probably like 50, probably.
50
I don't know.
artists.
Probably like 50
How many
artists.
days is it? A couple days?
It's I think 3 days.
Yeah.
But so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the Thursday night, I think there's like a pre-party thing at the venue.
Wow, dude.
So I think I'm going all 4 days technically, because the DC show is on Wednesday, and then I think Thursday we're just gonna go spend the whole weekend at the festival. So that should be fun.
That's sick, man.
Yeah,
that's coming up.
That's at the end of the month. That's like the 20.
Yeah, this will go up before then, so that's good. But
cool. Yeah.
Cool.
It's so the tour starts on the 18th, and then it's kind of like it's just one-off shows. It's not like a full like thing. We're just going like out to Seattle, and then I'll come back for a couple of days. New York, come back, DC, and then
dude, that's so cool. Like it like to me, it's just neat that you are able to do whatever it is that you want to do, like, and you're able to do it for people. Yeah, that's so cool.
It is cool, and I did want to touch on this too. I was thinking about this, that I think is important for people to, or I don't know, I think it's important. Yeah, maybe people have different opinions on this type of stuff, but to me, like, I think last year I kind of had an ego in a little way that like I didn't want to. I wasn't hopping on certain opportunities because I thought that I was like above them or something in a way, and I think it's important not to do that. I think it's super important to take any opportunities that you can get, even if you like just regardless, like, don't have any sort of ego, or like, I don't know, don't think you're ever too good for an opportunity. Don't pass up opportunities. Like, take every opportunity that you can.
I appreciate
even with
that mentality.
And I've been trying to do that more. Like this show, for instance, like this is not meant in a negative way at all.
No, I don't care.
I was just looking at YouTube numbers. Like, I try not to even look at numbers much. I just looked at, but I knew, like, I have more followers on YouTube or whatever than you.
Of course.
So if I wanted, I could be like, well, why do I need to take this? Why do I need to do this podcast? I can reach a bigger audience than you can. Yeah. But it's a different audience. Like, and it's a cool show. Like, I was just like, I looked at your show and I was like, oh, this is tight. Like, this is something I would want to do. Why would I not want to do this? It's cool. Like, you seem like a cool dude. I like the questions that you're asking. Why would I not want to take this opportunity to both, like, kind of like reach a new audience that I wouldn't have met in the same way that we were talking about earlier. Like, this is kind of a niche thing that I don't get to do on my own platform as often as not as often as I want, but I just don't do it often on my own platform. Sure. This is a different platform. Yeah. I have the opportunity to reach a new audience. You have the opportunity to reach a new audience, and it's a cool thing that I would like to do. So, like, why would I not want to do that? And similarly, like, if I get offers for shows that aren't necessarily the fee or aren't as good of an opportunity that I think I deserve, or what, like, I think I've been focusing on within the past year, not thinking about things in terms of like what I deserve or what, like, and just trying to focus on, like, I was talking to you on the break. I think maybe we were talking on the show. I don't remember, that I try not to focus on numbers too much, because I don't think that's necessarily a good judge of what is cool. I always just say things are cool. Yeah. I always like to say, like, if something's cool, then I want to do it. And I only want to make cool stuff. Not cool in a sense of like, oh, that's cool. Just in the things that I think are intrinsically cool. Like, cool to me. Like, I want to be a part of things that I think are cool. Yeah, you're an opportunist. And that I want to create things that I think are cool. Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing, and that people shouldn't get discouraged or get like kind of caught up in like this isn't streaming as well as I would like, or this isn't getting as many views as I would like, or as many likes as I was hoping for. Like, who cares, man? Like, just don't do things just for likes. Just do things that you want to do. And I think people see that, like, authenticity, and
it always wins.
They like to be a part of it. And even if it doesn't, dude, who cares, man? Like, don't get caught up in all that type of stuff. Just do stuff that you're interested in and think are cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking about that on the way over here as dude, like a message to the kids. Is like, who cares, man?
Yeah.
Just
who cares?
Do the stuff that you think are cool, and like, who cares what other people say.
Well, I appreciate you, dude. That was just a solid segment. Like, this whole thing, I think, is just really valuable for,
cool. Yeah.
You know, it's those nuggets that people can take, those gold nuggets.
Yeah, the little sound bites that help.
Yeah. So anyway, well, thanks for being on. What's your handle is Spock Music?
Yes,
right?
I think it's Spock Music on like everything.
On everything.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so be sure to go check him out. Yeah. Thanks for keeping up with us. Be sure to subscribe. I've been asking people to do that because in the past I just didn't, and so nothing happened.
Yeah, no, dude.
So I have to tout it a little bit. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Keep up with everything that Garrett's doing, everything that you got
the
coming.
Video.
Yeah, like the video.
Like the video.
Smash
I think it helps the algorithm.
Yeah. Yep, I think it does.
Comment.
Yeah.
Helps the algorithm probably.
Yeah. Smash like.
Smash.
Listen
on all your favorite podcast apps, right?
Yeah, I'm on everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. At 1 in 20 show. Check it out. Yeah, we're on everything. Thanks for keeping up with us. I think this is going to be episode 48.
Nice.
Yeah.
Solid.
In 13 months or something like that.
That's a
lot.
So
we're still going. Yeah, we're still
pumping away.
Yep, still pumping away. But thanks for being on, dude.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Thanks for doing it. And thank you guys. We'll see you soon.